Welcome to Top Growth Financial. Today I wanted to go over CCIV, and there has been a lot of recent price movement with this company. And as you guys know, there's been a merger that's going to happen on July 23rd with Lucid Motors. So that's big news, and there is just a little update released from the CEO, a little interview with them, and I want to go over that with you guys also. But I also just wanted to tell you guys what to be cautious about moving forward, because there's a lot of different things that are going into play here, and I just wanted to make sure you guys know all about that. So let's get started. So now I just wanted to go over this chart with you guys, and there's a lot of upward price movement and upward momentum since its crash, which it was almost at $60. But it's up about 19% over the last 30 days. So that's good news, but why is it up? So on July 23rd, CCIV will become LCID, and because of this, there's a lot of recent price momentum pushing that stock price up, but there is a lot of things that I want you guys to be cautious about. And you could ride that momentum upwards, but eventually the market is going to level itself out. So when is that going to happen? I can't tell you guys exactly, but on the positive side, there is a lot of interest in their cars. In fact, there's 557 cars that they think that they're going to produce in 2021, which is a big step for them. And another reason why this stock price is being elevated is because they're taking reservations for their cars, and you need to put $7,000 up front for a $160,000 car. So there's a lot of interest in these vehicles, and people are making that commitment. In fact, over 10,000 people have been confirmed to make that reservation. So that's a big step for them, but reservations don't necessarily mean revenue. And that's the problem that we're seeing, is because the reservations seem to be pushing the stock price higher. But reservations, again, as I said, they're not revenue. So without revenue, how can you base how this company is going to perform in the future when there's no solid ground to stand on? I also just wanted to point out that another reason this stock price is being elevated is because Tesla stock is extremely expensive right now. So people are seeing Lucid as an opportunity to get in at a little bit of a lower cost than Tesla would be, hoping for bigger gains in the future. And that's why CCIV stock is also going up, because they're directly correlated, they work together, and they're about to merge. But as we see with many of these new SPACs that are being released onto the market, there's a lot of momentum at the beginning, because people are excited, they're getting in at these low prices, but it just elevates the price extremely high. And then it seems like whenever there's a merger, or whenever there's something big about to happen, it'll go up even higher. And then once that event occurs, what I've noticed is it seems that they just drop off. And that's what happened with CCIV, but right now it's going up a little bit more. Like I said, it's up 19% in the last 30 days, which is a big jump, but you have to separate the story from the stock. And that's a big thing that I wanted to point out, because Lucid has a great story, and that kind of transfers to CCIV. But again, they haven't actually had any revenue come in besides the reservation revenue. So there isn't much there at the moment. And also I wanted to point out that they put so much money into advertising, which is a good thing. But also their fancy, expensive showrooms, how's that going to affect their balance sheet in the future? How's that going to affect the revenues? Maybe it'll help, but maybe it won't. It's just something to think about. Right now they have a $46 billion market cap. And this is kind of hard to measure this valuation against numbers, because there isn't any revenue. And because of that, it's hard to make any credible projections for CCIV at the moment. Also, I just wanted to point out that right now, they're selling at a sales multiple that's actually higher than Tesla's, in which Tesla's selling at an 8 sales multiple, and they're selling at an 8.5 sales multiple. So that's also something to take into consideration when you're thinking about buying this, or maybe selling it off at some point. So they do look very appealing at the moment, but eventually the market seems to measure everything out and puts it where it should be. So I think that's going to happen eventually with this. Maybe there's going to be some more upward momentum, as I said earlier, because there's a lot of speculation correlating into what this stock price movement has been recently. So now to see what other people are saying about it, we're going to check out the tip ranks and just see how it measures up to what my opinion is. So when I look at the tip ranks, it doesn't look too good. I see investor sentiment is very negative, and that little speedometer type thing, it's all the way down at sold, basically rock bottom. And over the last 30 days, there has been a 6.6% drop in portfolios holding CCIV with only a 0.1% increase over the last 7 days. And then when you look at the risk factors for CCIV, you can see that there's a lot of different sources of risk, but the main is finance and corporate, and that's because of their lack of sales, I'm sure. So now there's some new news that just came out where the Lucid Motors CEO is talking about the merger with CCIV, and I thought it was very interesting. So I wanted to share that with you guys and go over it briefly with you guys after. So let's dive in.
To start of production for its luxury electric vehicles. So far, Lucid says it has more than 10,000 orders for its EVs. Let's dive into the company with Lucid Motors CEO Peter Rawlinson, who is coming to us from inside a new Lucid studio in New York City. Yahoo Finance senior auto reporter Pras Subramanian is here as well. Peter, good to see you again here. So the reservations, there's been a lot of confusion, I would say, in the EV industry on what quantifies as a reservation. How do you quantify it, and where do you think these orders are coming from? Are these orders or reservations, do you think they would have been for Teslas otherwise?
Well, our reservations have just exceeded 10,000. They're bona fide reservations with appropriate deposits. Some people have even paid over $7,000 deposit. The reservations are coming from all sectors. There isn't really such a thing as a market for EVs. There's a market for cars. And with great EVs like the Lucid Air that we're launching this year, we're going to get more penetration into the internal combustion engine market, more EVs taking the place of gasoline burners, and that's great for the planet.
Hey, Peter, Pras here. So I had a chance to have a ride in that Lucid Air, the Grand Touring Edition. Very impressive production quality. I know these are pre-production builds, very smooth ride as well. But I was curious, have you been seeing these orders, reservations kind of accelerating recently as you guys have picked up steam and opened up more of these showrooms?
Indeed. This is the 8th studio we've just opened here in New York City. We're opening this weekend here in the Meatpacking District, our new flagship studio. So come along and check out for yourself. And seeing is very much believing, Pras. As you experience the ride in the car, then people start to take us much more seriously. And we're seeing the order book accelerate as a consequence of that.
You know, you're also kind of pulling forward some planned capital expenditures. Is this because you want to increase capacity, or is it for newer models, or any kind of just work on the new Casa Grande factory?
We want to accelerate our growth as a company to impact the world beneficially. The world needs to accelerate its transition to sustainable mobility. And we've recently announced an expansion, bringing forward of capital and expansion of our plant by 2.7 million square feet. Also, we're putting in a second line for Gravity, Project Gravity. So we're really safeguarding the future of the company. We're future-proofing it. We're mitigating risk. And we're planning for a very, very expensive future.
Peter, it's Julie here. Speaking of acceleration, let's talk timeline for all of those people who have put in their orders to get their cars. What is it looking like? I know you have been talking about the second half of the year. The second half is a long time, a long range of time. Do you have any more specificity as to when people will start receiving cars? And I'm curious if you all are being affected at all by the chip shortage that has been plaguing the car industry.
Oh, right, yeah, okay. So we've promised deliveries in the second half of the year. We're on track for that. And we had really a red letter day just last Friday, the 18th of June, where we started our quality validation fleet build. These are the cars, these are production cars which we started building, which will gradually, when the quality is right, we will determine at a level where we can actually sell to a customer. You also asked about the chip shortage. We've actually bought ahead to mitigate risk. And we're pretty good for this year's production run, actually. I think that there are one or two chips that are causing us some issues, specifically one in our battery monitoring system. And we're mitigating that risk by looking at alternative sourcing and alternative design of the printed circuit board to suit an alternative chip if that should indeed be necessary. So far, I'm pretty confident the engineering and procurement teams have got this covered.
Peter, I've seen a range of different valuations on Lucid, maybe at the low end, 33 billion, all the way up to 57 billion. How concerned are you that the market is just too optimistic on your company, given how many vehicles you might produce this year?
Look, my focus is long term on a 10-year plan. Our real value proposition is the technology that we bring to bear. World-class technology which can have a transformative impact upon mankind's transition to sustainable mobility. That real value will manifest itself in the long term. I think there's a near-term myopia here, and I'm not going to get drawn into that.
Hey, Peter, one more from Pras here. So I was curious about the showroom itself. I was there this week. It's very design centric. What is the purpose of it exactly? Is it more of a consumer facing, get to know the brand, or do you plan on actually selling cars there, or maybe even partnering with another firm to actually have a showroom where you can actually sell these cars in a franchise location?
It's very much, exploring and catalyzing the voyage of discovery for many people who are completely oblivious to our brand. The first exposure they may have is just walking past here in the meatpacking district and taking a look. And then they go on this voyage of discovery. They're very welcome, this engaging studio, a boutique style atmosphere with the design sensibility to match the car. Very much on brand, very much California, mid-century modern inspired design architecture. And many of the exhibits we have here are the technology exhibits. People are very welcome to come. This is not a high pressure sales environment. Actually, in New York, we're not allowed to sell a car. So this is very much a voyage of discovery. Come in, engage with our staff, learn about the car, learn about the technology, learn how awesome the car is in a non-pressurized environment. This is a voyage of discovery which this building will catalyze.
Peter, I feel wealthier just looking at the photos of that studio, but I do want to ask you before we let you go here. We last talked to you in February, and since then, we had GM, you have Ford out here raising how much they plan to spend on EVs over the next 5 to 6 years, billions of dollars more in terms of batteries versus their prior estimates. Are you concerned about this level or this wave of competition about to rain down on the industry?
No, I was just going to say, isn't it great? Hats off to Ford for F-150 Lightning, great product. Hats off to team at GM for Ultium battery technology, pushing that huge commitment they're making. It means more EVs. There is plenty of room to thrive for all of us. I don't see this as competition at all. But ultimately, it's the technology that's going to win. And what's missing here is the recognition that this is a technology race. And right now, there is one runner in that tech race, and it's Tesla. That's why Tesla commands that market cap. That's why it's in that preeminent position. We have world-class technology, and we aim to make this a two-horse race.
All right, we'll leave it there. Lucid Motors CEO Peter Rawlinson, good to see you again. And of course, good to see Yahoo Finance senior auto reporter Pras Subramanian. Have a good weekend.
So as you can see, he's got a very good vision for the future of this company, but I still think it's very hard to convert reservations to revenues. I think that's kind of what's happening at the moment, but I guess we'll see. I'm excited to see how it plays out, and I hope you guys are too. So thanks for watching. All I ever ask is that you just punch that subscribe button, that you give it a little thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.